Hello folks and welcome. Linux Mint 21.1, Cinnamon Desktop. Today I'm going to do a similar video that I did in the last 60 days on system information or system tools. But today I'm going to talk about several different options of installing software. And some of these tools are already built into your system and some of them are not. And I'll talk and touch about configuration for one of them. One of your tools is already installed already, but I'm going to make mention of some of the things you can alter. Let's put it that way. So today's video I'm going to talk about System Monitor, Stacer Glances, HTOP, BashTop, ATOP, Top, and Hard Info. Another name for that would be System Profiler and Benchmark. Not necessarily in that order. Some of these tools are graphical and some of them are ran directly on a terminal. So this video is made for a mixed group of users. Some folks are just learning how to use terminal. So for those folks, I'm going to talk about the most of the tools that ran out of terminal last. But in either case, some of these tools like HTOP can actually be ran directly from the menu, but it does open up terminal. And some of the other tools, you have to literally punch the command in only in terminal. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So in either case, folks, welcome. This is NeoFetch if you're curious about that command. Gives me the Mint logo and the information in a nutshell. So LM21 Cinnamon Desktop is what DE stands for, Desktop Environment. Today I'm filming entirely in 1920 by 1080. No scaling today, folks. So the whole video will be filmed in 1920 by 1080. My video will be more than 2 minutes, but all my videos on my new channel have timelines and chapters, and I do encourage that you subscribe. So I am going to use Alt F4 to close this window. The first thing I'm going to do is open up System Monitor. Now I can go look for that, or I can just close this and go scrolling. Okay, so it's in the administration section, System Monitor. Maybe you've opened this, maybe you haven't. This particular tool is configurable. So for you folks that are leery about making changes, may I basically, I'm sorry, SC. Type in SC in here and look for the screenshot tool. And if you do a screenshot of the screen that takes the picture of the calendar and the wallpaper and all that, that's probably something you don't need. Window makes for a smaller screenshot and it only takes a picture of this box. And you can put it right on top of it. It never takes a picture of itself. Okay, or you can do selection and draw boxes around these things. In either case, this is the most convenient. And then take the screenshot and save it wherever you want on your disk. All right, that's all I'm going to say about the screenshot tool. But it does come in handy and it's built in. And anytime you make system changes, it's probably a good idea. Now I'm going to click the hamburger menu and talk about System Monitor for a second. It has process, resources, and file system. It's also configurable by preferences. And this box can be rather long. Okay, there's lots of things you can click on and change. 3 different sections. So one more time, this is already built into your system called System Monitor. There's another tool that's available for you as a quick reference, and same thing, SY. It's called System Reports. System Reports, when you open it, it first runs a quick check, and then you have system information. If you are a previous subscriber, you may have seen me use the inxi command with some options. It's similar to that. Okay, and if I remember that, I'll try to perform inxi here in the menu in a second, or at least a little bit later when I talk about terminal commands. Hopefully I'll remember that, but anyways, inxi. So this is System Reports, already built into your system. Now the rest of the stuff I'm going to talk about you can install through Software Manager. So the first graphical tool I'm going to talk about is Stacer. Stacer looks like that. And again, you can find it through Software Manager. All right, so you've got the CPU, memory, and disk, and some other information in here. You've also got little areas to click on, and be careful if you make changes. That's all I got to say on that one. Different areas that you can look at. So I'm going to close that. So some of you other folks may have seen me use this tool before. I can either use the word HARD, I'm looking for system profiler, or I can actually type in SY or SYS. System profile and benchmark, again, you'll have to install that through Software Manager, but you'll sometimes find this tool automatically installed on some distributions. I'm going to double click on this imaginary line to make this full screen. You can also use it the old-fashioned way. So I have a summary. I have lots of areas I can click on, including benchmarks. So this is made by Hard Info, and you can search for Hard Info in your Software Manager and find this rather easily to install. I'm going to double click on that to make this smaller, and then I'm going to close this. So that's Hard Info. Now, for some of you folks that are wanting to do stuff out of terminal, as I pointed out earlier, I was going to do a combination of things. One of them is already built in. It's called Top. You don't have to install anything. You can just type in the word Top and it produces a process monitor. The other one, you can actually go to Software Manager, and it's called HTOP, and you can actually find it in the menu after you install HTOP. It looks just like that, and it also opens up in terminal. I'm going to close this box briefly and then type HTOP again in here. All right, so HTOP is the fancier version, I call it. That's just my name for it, of the Top, and it has some extra bells and whistles. Okay. So I'm going to close that. Another one that you can run out of terminal that you'll have to install, and again, all of these you'll have to install through Software Manager because they're not built in, is they all have the derivative of Top. So you saw I used Top, it's already built in. HTOP you can install. You can also install ATOP. And that looks like that, and I'll hit Q for quit. And then there's Bash Top. Again, that is also found in your Software Manager, and it looks like that. I'll go full screen on that by double clicking. I'm not going to resize the text, folks, because I'm just going through this rather quickly. I'm going to hit Q. So that was HTOP or Top, HTOP, ATOP, Bash Top. Yeah, they all have the last name of Top on it. So going out of order, I have Glances. Now, Glances is also found in your Software Manager for installation, but it does take a while to install this one, but I'll just make mention of it anyways. Okay, and then I'll go full screen. So there's lots of tools that you can install, and there's probably more that I haven't talked about. I'm sure of that, because there's lots of tools out there, but I'm just talking about a couple of them. There's also basic commands that you can run out of terminal. I'll give you just two examples of that I've shown in the past. Now, when you're learning terminal, that was probably the most common thing that first folks learn out of terminal, which is ls. It's list your home folder or directory, your desktop, documents, downloads, music, pictures, that kind of thing. But you can also use the ls command by doing something like this, ls USB one word. And that's my universal serial bus. I'm going to punch up clear. And you can also use ls CPU, Central Processing Unit, also one word, ls CPU. This will have to scroll for, just to give you some more information up here, if you're needing to know your processor in a hurry and all the particulars to go with it. So there's a lot of things you can do with terminal. You can also install tools going through your software store. And there's a Heinz variety of software out there available for you. But take advantage of the stuff that's already built in. I did make mention of this earlier and I forgot. inxi. Again, I used to use this pretty heavily on my previous channel. And inxi is a wealth of information. Why am I using -big F XE? It strips out personal information. But this is also a wealth of information. I'm going to have to scroll to the top, or I can just double click and make this large. It's got the kernel information, tells me what kind of desktop, what distro I'm using. It even tells me motherboard information, what the model number of my motherboard is, what kind of CPU I'm using, graphics card, what's the model number of that. Even tells me the driver that I'm currently using and what kind of video resolution I'm running in, and the rest of the information. So I'm going to type in exit. And then I'll say thank you for watching, folks, and take care.